what I remember about sleeping my way to the top, a love story and a love letter. In 1982, I went with a group of friends up to Hanzell Vineyards. In fact, in the group of friends was my ex-husband, the wrong Bob. And we went up to Hanzell to meet Bob Sessions and taste his legendary wines. I remember meeting Bob, and he was truly a gentleman, and a gentleman, and a brilliant winemaker, and very passionate about his art. So in 1999, I remember going back with a bottle of William Selyem Pinot Noir. I was very nervous because I wanted to do a consulting project with Bob Sessions. I was starting my own marketing company, and very nervous about it. And it was very funny. He told me later I had the job the minute I asked him if I could walk with him in the vineyards. And we did walk in the vineyards and walk in the vineyards. He told me almost every name of every vine, all the different soil types. And then he told me that his heart was very heavy because his longtime wife, Molly, had ovarian cancer and she was quite ill. Well, I did get the job, and Molly died. And Bob's grief was so heavy that we thought we had lost him too. So after time passed, as time does, I coaxed him into going to an event with me. And I thought he needed to get out. And so when he brought me back to my home, and he didn't seem to want to leave. So I invited him in for a cup of tea, and he sat down and informed me that he would never be over Molly, but he was going to go on with his life, and he wanted to date. And I said, well, I'll think about it, because I work for your company. And I asked if that was all right. He said, well, that's all right, but don't take too long. You're one of three. Which is absolutely a true story. We did start dating. But Bob was very much affected by the grief with Molly. And it caused a lot of different things with him, a lot of depression, sadness, and forgetfulness. We all chalked that up to that he was just in shock from Molly dying. And so we just carried on. I carried on with my career. I accepted a position as CEO of a big wine company. And then I got an unpleasant surprise in a diagnosis of really rather big breast cancer, which was surprising because big had never been used in reference to my breast. But I was more worried about, a big concern about my relationship with Bob. I gave him the great opt-out speech and said, we can just be friends. And he looked confused and said, well, I'm not worried about you having cancer. I'm also not worried about you losing your hair or a body part or anything like that. I'm really worried about your temper. If you could take that down a notch, we're good. And I was like, oh, okay. So with all the estrogen gone from my body, my temper kind of mellowed out. So we were good with that. I hopefully will never forget, although Bob has, that December we went to Hawaii. And I accepted the position to become president of Hanzell Vineyards as Bob retired that December. And he proposed that night, and he offered me a beautiful engagement cigar band. It was a little bit awkward in that he doesn't smoke cigars. I don't know where he got it. I accepted it anyway. The following following winter, we got married in Las Vegas. And then following January, we honeymooned in Mendocino. And we both loved Mendocino. He had been there a lot with Molly over their 40 years. I had been there and loved it on random dates over all the years. But we had a great time. I remember we were walking along the cliffs, arm in arm, over the ocean. And I thought Bob was playing around. And I thought he was going to run around me. And I went to catch him because I realized he was falling. And I lifted him up, straightened him up. And he was drooling and confused. And he didn't understand nor remember what was going on. That's when everything became more focused. He was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, MCI. And he and I both thought, well, heck, it's mild. And his doctor said, well, mild, but 10 to 15 years, so don't put things off. because it's probably leading to Alzheimer's. Well, my oncologist had said, don't put things off. So we thought, heck, we just won't put things off. It was not a bad thing. So, we thought, well, we'll just proceed. So the next years are a little bit of a blur to me. I moved to Sonoma, up into the mountains. Bob moved to the mountains with me. I would work at Hanzell while he stayed at home and wrote. I would help oversee building a new winery, building caves at Hanzell. And he would go to the grocery store, forget to buy anything, lose his wallet. It was all very normal. It was very normal for us. And then I got a call from a wine critic that we had a flaw in our wine at Hanzell. This was very troubling because it risked changing the image of our wine and our whole history of our amazing wine and Bob's amazing wine history. So we took it very seriously. I called Bob. He came to the winery. We called the owner, and we launched the most intense investigation into this flavor contamination of any winery in history at that time. We found the cause. It was using chlorine for a winery cleaning protocol. We changed the protocol, and then we continued building the new winery, and we shared the information with the world. To celebrate, Bob and I went to Italy. So on New Year's Eve, we were there, just the two of us, on the Spanish Steps drinking champagne, completely lost. We had no idea where we were, and it was wonderful. I remember being lost all the time on the trip, and he remembered being in Rome at the Roman Forum. I remember being in Siena. He remembers being in Venice. It was great. In 2006, he was invited to attend the Focus on Chardonnay for the final time for him in Burgundy. And it was my dream trip. And I thought it was for Bob too. So we went to Burgundy, and Bob was troubled. And I didn't expect that to happen at that time. I didn't understand why he was troubled, but I felt he was having trouble keeping up with the other winemakers. And his French-speaking skills had up and left him. We had a great time, and we got by. One of the reasons is we're a very cute couple. We're known as Mr. and Mrs. Magoo, and we tip well. So it was just an amazing trip. That's a tip, just in case. To share with you, just in case. Bob carries with him his childhood, always. He remembers the start of World War II. He remembers his Uncle Elmer that died on D-Day in Normandy. He remembers loving history and reading a lot about Nazi Germany. Bob could never understand how evil could manifest in a nation. So when we went to Burgundy on this trip, he wanted to go visit a Nazi war camp. Now, and I think it's because he knew his days were numbered for travel. Now, I was very concerned because a week in the City of Light and Love, Paris, or Nazi war camp. Anyway, we spent 2 days in Paris, and then we went to Poland, and we went to Krakow, and then we went to Auschwitz. I remember Auschwitz deeply. Truly, sadly, Bob does not. We missed the window of his connection to Auschwitz, that place, that history, by several months. It was just very sad. So I'm going to speed up a little bit and read you my love letter. And it's to all of us and to Bob. It's about what we've gone through. In the past 2 years, he has put down his writing, he's put his papers down, and he has put his beloved books down. In Paris, I remember him sitting in the apartment in the morning sun, looking out at the rain-drenched walk and talking about his memory going. It's such a short time between then and when he started tapping his head saying, "My brain doesn't work." Such a short time between then and when he stopped being able to read out loud and then unable to read at all. I don't remember when he left me as a partner. I know one day he could help me with problems at work, and then one day he couldn't understand anything I was saying. One by one, little things slip away, and I don't notice until they're gone, and they're not coming back. Little important things, like remembering how to kiss. I don't really remember when he let go of me. No, that's not right. It sounds like he had a choice. It's when the disease erased the memory of me. When we talked in Paris, he didn't want to be where he is now. But he's different now, and he tells me he likes being here, and he likes me. He'll tell me he loves me sometimes when I tell him I love him all the time. He knows most of the time that I'm trying to keep him safe, but God knows he thinks I'm trying to kill him when I get him near a shower. I never thought I would live this long. I thought I'd die before him, so I got all of his affairs in order. I did not think I would live to lose him day by day and month by month, these months. This is my connection now. This is my love letter to share with you. This disease is rapidly climbing to be one of the most prolific of our lifetime. Because it is so frightening, it remains secretive and hidden away. And in doing so, our most valued loved ones, our most beloved human treasures, are being lost in the shadows to shame and sadness. And it breaks my heart over and over again. Thank you.